Welcome back to Trains Oz. In this edition we're going to have a quick look at schedules, creating a schedule, the brief requirements of creating a schedule. So here is our test track, and down the bottom here in Bloomfield we have a couple of box cars that I want to get up to hidden staging track 2, and eventually we'll create another schedule to bring them back out again. So that was a two-stage one versus leads the next schedule, but for today it's just a single schedule. So we need to go into edit mode. We then need to go to our dispatcher window. Now, dispatcher window looks different but has the same layout plan. We can see over the left here our existing schedule. So we've got a passenger train schedule which starts and stops here. We've got a grain train schedule which starts here, runs around the layout and ends here. And we've got an existing freight schedule which starts here and ends in hidden staging 3. So let's go ahead and create a new schedule for our box train. We go schedule, create schedule. Now this icon here, the 3 boxes with the arrow, it is a pick from diagram. So we pick where we're starting from first. So we're going to start in this box here. Then we'll pick our main line to the left. It will basically follow logically in the direction we're going to head. So we'll keep picking main line. Now sometimes because there is many options, it doesn't include the line. So in this case you can click the line manually, or you just click back on the box that you were on and it will then place the line in. Again, just keep moving forwards, and here you can see it's chosen an option to ramp around. And we're going to hidden staging 2. So this is our destination. So these are our destination markers in which direction we want to stop. So we'll put a destination stop on for here. Now we'll come back and we'll just fill in any alternative routes it could use, such as mains and sidings. So we'll pick this one, and then we'll pick through to here, which you can see now it's filled in that link and that link. We'll come through to the loop, and then we'll come through to Bloomfield main, so it's now filled in that link, and we're back to here. So now we'll set our start, so our start in this direction, and that is it. We've created a schedule which will start here in Bloomfield East, can come through Bloomfield main, can take the loop or the siding at Southside Station, can go to Southtown 2 and take the main or the loop. It'll pass through and get up into hidden staging 2. I don't know if you can notice, but there's a thin blue line running through this block. There's actually also one in this block. What that means is they're critical blocks. So the train can't leave Southdown 1 until it can actually get to Hidden Yard. So if there's a train in here, or a train is reserved this block, it can't move. It has to wait here until that line is clear. And the same over this end. Good idea to do that on single line track, especially if you've got 2 single blocks, one after the other. Because what you can happen is a train will drive into one single block from one direction, and one can drive into the other single block from another direction. But here we don't have that problem. We've just said you can only pass through there if you've got somewhere to go to at both ends, which at both ends there's multiple options. So that's our schedule. Now if we double click on our schedule or right click and choose properties, it will open up the window of the schedule. So we'll give it a name. So box freight Bloomfield to hidden track 2. It's a normal schedule, so we have options here. We can do a shuttle, we can do a cycle, or we can do a shunt. Now, normal schedule is we run it, it runs once, it will do the job. If I wanted a shuttle to go back and forward, like I might have a passenger train that's like a city commuter, it goes back and forward, I could set it to a shuttle and I'll just keep going back and forward between those points, and I set how many times I want to do that. Alternatively, it could be a cycle. This might lead once, and then I might have my second schedule set up to come back around, and I might do this 4 times. So it'll go out and around the layout 4 times. The next section is orientation for start. So we can, for start, we can put in here things like turn the light on, and then when it finishes, we can turn the headlight off on the train. Down the bottom here we have our driving modes. So in the left, the computer is going to take the driving mode. The other one I use is this one here, which is I can manually drive the train, but if I look like I'm going to run a red signal, the computer will take over and stop the train for me. It won't allow me to cross into the path of another train. But in this case, it's going to be a fully automatic schedule, so we'll stick to the left. The only other real thing we need to do is in rules, we need to set train may stay in starting block. What this means is when we have a look here at our starting block, our train can only go to Bloomfield Main. So if there's already another train passing through and has or is at Bloomfield Main, our train physically can't start, it can't move, so the schedule would try to start and then it would stop and say no, schedule failed. If I put this tick box in here, train may stay in start block, it can stay in here until this clears and then it will proceed through to the end. That's really the main one we need to look at in here. There are plenty of other options which we'll discuss in another video, but this one is one of the key ones. The other key one is the train may only start in a forward direction. If you don't do this, the train may come out to here, something goes wrong, you reset the system, you kick the schedule off again, and you find it can go backwards back into here. So yeah, make sure it's, for this sort of train, a freight train, it's only going in the forward direction. There is no successes. This is where we can select what train can run. So we might turn around and say, well, we only want freight cars in the box kind to run on this schedule. That limits it to only that freight type in that block can start. So we're not going to limit it. The limiting factor will be the schedule won't start unless there is something in that block, and it will run only that item along that line. So we could have anything in here. We could have our grain train in here. We could have tank cars in here. We could have our auto rack sitting in here. We could have an intermodal sitting here, and it would drive and follow this process. So just to recap, we give it a name. We make sure I left it on normal. So it's just a normal schedule, runs once. We can set a try again if you want in 30 seconds. We'll set a starting light on, finishing light off, and we'll keep it as an auto. We come into rules. We make sure that we have the train may stay in the starting block, and we have that it's going in the forward direction. This is a start delay, so 2-second start delay. When the schedule starts, it'll wait 2 seconds before it actually kicks off. You can increase that if you want to put in here a list. You might change this to a startup sequence. You may have the engine sound, and in this case you can add to the list that I want to start, and the startup sequence may take a couple of minutes. So you'd add your light, your startup sequence, and therefore back here you may increase your delay time on startup. Now there's other ways to do delay. We'll cover that in another session. Okay, so basically that is our schedule. It's done, it's ready to go. So we have our schedules box freight, so now we can save, and we can go to run mode, and we can see our schedule is highlighted. So we could click right click, start, and our schedule is good to run. We'll click our simulator start, and if we had a loco on here, it would start traveling around, but we don't have a loco yet. So now you'll see here it's sitting here with an hourglass, meaning there's an issue. The issue is we don't have a loco. Okay, so in order to fix this, we need to be in our normal screen, and we need to click on our train, and this is where we add and remove parts of a train. So simply click on what we want to add, which is our 2 boxcars here, right click, and then we go down to the bottom to train set, and then we go change train set. And in change train set we can see our train. You can see it has a boxcar. We can see there are all these items available that could go on this train set. Now some of these are already set up. You can see here we could add the passenger train. Not really ideal. We could add the RD4 hoppers. Well, we could, yes. They're around somewhere. But in this case, we're going to just pick up this 3121-9, which is sitting over on the right. So we'll add him. We'll add. You can see he's disappeared from here, and he's appeared here, but he's appeared at the back of the train, because if we had our box selected, and it adds whatever you add underneath that. So we click on our locomotive and we just move it up using the up arrow, and there it is. Now we can give it a name if we wish. If not, it will just default to the loco name. So we'll leave it as is. We now have a train with a loco ready to go. So that's it. It's now ready to function. We can come back into our train and we can say, right, we want Bloomfield boxes to start. We can click start here. We go over here and you can see straight away he's already selected that path. If we come back to here, you can see he's already pre-selected that path. He's good to go, and we've got speed. He's away. So there's nothing wrong with that train now. Now while this train's doing his thing, we could have other trains running, like we have a train over here running around. Now say for instance this train here, we want this train to change its consist. At the moment it has a UP engine in it, and maybe we want to change that. So we'll head to train, train set, change train set. You see here we have a UP in here, so perhaps we want to add this other locomotive over here, which is 4200 ES44, and take off the UP train. So we can come down here, find our loco in the list, 4200, we can add it. Now if we move this right up to the top of the tree, it is now the lead loco. And so train control says, all right, you're responsible, you're the one who's actually occupying the block. Now we can remove the UP, and then we have our new train consist. Now notice it's disappeared from the block. That's because we took away what was the lead loco. Okay, so we're going to close, and now we just click on our block. We can either pick it up from down here and we can drag it into position, or we could have clicked on this icon here and we could have gone add and selected it from the list, given it a direction. Good thing about adding is you can see if that train's already somewhere else. Now, if you extend your train window a little bit, we can also see that same information here with the right options. So over the left here we have block. We can move that over, make him closer to our left. We can move our block to here, or even before there, even before train type. So now we can see what blocks, what trains are in, straight up just by looking at our train list. The other thing I like to have here is I like to have the schedule. So if I have a schedule here, I can see straight up what schedule any trains I have are actually running on. So at the moment there's nothing moving on any schedule, but if I kicked off our passenger train, so I can come here and I kick off our passenger service and go start, our passenger train will run when it's timeout times, and we can have a look at that by just clicking on our schedule up the top. And we should see our passenger train come up on schedule. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That covers everything I needed to cover. Thank you.